It's March Madness time, and it's time to start filling out your brackets. And of course, go to KHT-Kage.com. We've got a chance for you to win $1 million if you can fill out a perfect bracket. I'm here to try and help you do that. Let's see if we can get you some answers to the big March Madness brackets. Okay, first of all, we know the UC Davis Aggies. They didn't get in this year. Cal State Fullerton representing the Big West. They open up against Duke in the first round. I love the Titans. Not enough to knock Coach K out in his final game coaching at Duke. Duke will win in the first round. That's just an aside. We'll get you started on all the major brackets. Obviously, Gonzaga is the #1 team in the country overall. They're in the West region. They're going to be tough to beat. I've got them going through all the way to the Final Four. I love Arkansas in this region too. If you want a sleeper in the West, I'd go with Eric Musselman and the Arkansas Razorbacks. They beat Kentucky in the regular season. They were dominant towards the end of the SEC. They've got a kid in the name of Note who's averaging over 20 points a game. He is the type of guard who can carry you in March. What you want is great guard play with these teams. Arkansas has it. Not enough in my mind to upset Gonzaga. I would put them all the way through to the Final Four in this round of the bracket. I don't like Duke going all the way to the Final Four. I don't think they're a strong #2 seed. In fact, I'm not sure why the committee gave them a #2 seed. Texas Tech upsets them, the Red Raiders, in the Sweet 16. All right, let's move down to the next side of the bracket. The UCLA Bruins are good. I love them coming out of the next region to get into a situation to upset there, as you've got the #1 seed Baylor. For me, I think they're the weakest of all four of the seeds coming out of this side of the bracket as we look over at the East here. The Bruins very strong in the Pac-12, and it wasn't for Arizona, they'd probably win that conference down there. Baylor, they are the #1 seed coming out of there. I don't think they get by North Carolina. Look what they did in Duke. They upset Coach K on his final home game. Talk about a team with momentum. The Tar Heels have momentum. I think that's going to be a second round upset, as you've got North Carolina moving on to the Sweet 16 for that matchup with the Bruins. Again, I do like UCLA better on that side of the bracket. Bottom half of that bracket, I think Kentucky, the #2 seed, will survive all the way to the Elite Eight. I've got UCLA and Kentucky meeting up in the East region. That'll be an epic Elite Eight, but I do think John Calipari and the Wildcats go on to New Orleans in the Final Four. Let's take a look over at the south side of the bracket now. Arizona, to me, a #1 seed, totally deserving the #2 seed overall in this tournament. I think they roll easily to the Final Four. I think they'll end up matching up with Tennessee on the other side of that bracket. The Vols looking very strong in the SEC tournament as they won the conference tournament down there in Tampa Bay. I do think they'll match up with Villanova trying to get to the Elite Eight game. Villanova's always great in the tournament. I always hate to root against Jay Wright. That team is always solid. They play physical basketball, but I think Tennessee's too good for them there. My upset special in the first round, if you're looking for something that's a little saucy, Chattanooga, to me, not only is going to beat Illinois in the first round, but they're going to upset Houston in that round of 32 game. They get to the Sweet 16. This is a veteran team. This train is rolling in Chattanooga. And if you want an upset special, look for Chattanooga getting to the Sweet 16 in the South region. But again, I think Arizona's too much. They get to the Final Four. Finally, in the Midwest bracket, as you take a look at that, Auburn, the #2 seed on this side, I think they're very solid, but if you want to see an upset on that half, USC is a very good team out of the Pac-12. And I know the Pac-12 doesn't have the same cred as some of these other conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC. By the way, the Big Ten getting 9 teams in this tournament, that's way too many. I don't think they're deserving. They're going to have another poor tournament this year. Don't take too many Big Ten teams. If you want an upset USC over Auburn, I'm personally staying with Bruce Pearl and the Auburn Tigers on that side of the bracket. Kansas, another blue blood. Hard to go against them early on in this tournament. I do think that San Diego State has a chance to upset them in the second round, not taking it, but I do think they will beat Creighton in that 8-9 game. South Dakota State, I'm going with another 13-4 upset. I do think South Dakota State, who was 30-4 this year, on the in league play and in the course of their overall season. Tremendous record. I do think they beat #4 Providence if you want another 13-4 upset. They will not get past Iowa, though. I've got Iowa and Kansas meeting up in the Sweet 16. Jayhawks advancing to the Elite Eight, where they will take on Auburn, but I do have the Jayhawks advancing to New Orleans. All right, so let's just sum this up again. Final four selections. I've got Gonzaga playing Kentucky, Arizona versus Kansas. Then I get a little boring. The two best teams in this country, in this tournament, it's Gonzaga and Arizona. It's Mark Few versus his pupil. Pupil is going to win this one. Wildcats over the Bulldogs. Arizona cutting down the nets in New Orleans, partying Mardi Gras style as they're going to win this year's national championship. Don't forget to fill out your bracket. I wouldn't suggest taking all of my suggestions because I'm not going to win this thing. Maybe you can win $1 million. Go to KHT-Kage.com, enter our bracket challenge, have a lot of fun. Some people call it March Madness. I like to call it Marsh Madness.